Philadelphia Police Detective John Hobbes visits serial killer Edgar Reese on death row. Reese is in high spirits, grabs Hobbes' hand during the conversation and delivers a spiteful monologue in an unknown language, believed to be gibberish but later identified as Aramaic. As he is executed, Reese taunts viewers and sings, "Time is on my side," by the Rolling Stones. Hobbes and his partner Jonesy investigate a new series of murders reminiscent of Reese's style. This is believed to be the work of a copycat killer. Following leads from Reese and a copycat killer, Hobbes tracks down a woman named Greta Milano. Greta explains that her father, a former detective, committed suicide in a secluded cabin after being accused of a series of occult murders that Hobbes and Jonesy are investigating. Hobbes visits the Milan family's abandoned lake house. In the basement he finds some disturbing books on demonic possession. He also discovers the name Azazel written on the wall, covered in a layer of paint and dirt. Hobbes asks for Greta about the name, but she urges him to drop the case in order to protect his life and his loved ones. She reconsiders after a terrifying encounter with Azazel, who confronts her in the guise of several strangers on the street and attempts to possess her. Seeking sanctuary in a church, Greta explains to Hobbes that Azazel is a fallen angel who can possess human beings by touch. Hobbes realizes that Azazel possessed Edgar Reese, who shook his hand before execution, but was unable to possess him. Greta explains that the demon will try to ruin his life and warns him of Azazel's inevitable victory. Azazel visits Hobbes at his precinct, possesses his friend Lou, and taunts him. Azazel moves from person to person, singing, "Time is on my side," after each transfer. Hobbes asks Lou and several others why they were singing the song, but they have no recollection. Hobbes runs outside and calls out to Azazel in Aramaic. The demon, now moving among people in the street, praises Hobbes for his cleverness. Hobbes says that he knows of Azazel's true identity. The demon threatens him and disappears. To provoke Hobbes, Azazel possesses his nephew Sam and attacks John's mentally ill brother Art in their home. He again escapes, and flees into other people on the street and ends up being a schoolteacher. As a teacher, Azazel pulled out a gun and had Hobbes shoot the host in front of a group of bystanders. Azazel boasts that even if the current host is killed, he can switch to another host in the area without touching it. Lieutenant Stanton informs Hobbes that his fingerprints have been found at one of the murder scenes, and given the strange circumstances surrounding the teacher's shooting, he has become the suspect for all the murders. Azazel inhabits some of the witnesses, who falsely report that the shooting was unprovoked, further raising suspicions against Hobbes. Azazel arrives at Hobbes' house and murders his brother while marking Sam. Hobbes takes his nephew to Greta's house. Greta explains that once Azazel is expelled from his host's body, he can only travel as long as one breath can sustain him, after which he dies. Hobbes goes to Milano's cabin and calls Jonesy, knowing he will track the phone. Stanton and Jonesy arrive to arrest Hobbes. However, Jonesy kills Stanton and reveals himself to be possessed. Azazel prepares to shoot himself so he can possess Hobbes, the only other person around him. Hobbes wrestled with Jonesy over the gun, and Jonesy was fatally wounded. Hobbes smokes cigarettes which he explains have been laced with the same poison that Azazel used to kill his brother, leaving Azazel stranded in the wilderness without a host. Hobbes taunts him and kills Jonesy. Azazel possesses Hobbes, tries desperately to escape, and succumbs to the poison. Azazel, believing himself to have lost, taunts the audience with a voiceover, until a possessed cat emerges from beneath the cabin and heads back to civilization.